Today I'm going to be discussing wind turbines and the effects that they have on the health of humans and animals. This is a really important subject to me because of where I live. I live in between two communities which in the last 5 years have both had wind turbines put up in their surrounding area. So for me, this was a go-to subject when we had to talk about environmental problems, and I'm really excited to share some of this information with you. The first thing I will be discussing is the dirt behind the wind turbines, which will explain some of the issues regarding wind turbines and why they are a problem. Secondly, I'm going to discuss the issues and how they can affect humans, and especially with their health, and why we should be concerned about that. Thirdly, I'm going to talk about how they affect livestock, and it's important to remember that livestock isn't the only type of animal that can be affected by wind turbines. There are bats, birds, and other types of insects which are greatly affected by wind turbines. But for the sake of my presentation, and because of the interest that I have in the presentation, I'm going to focus basically mostly on livestock. And then finally, I'm going to discuss some of the solutions I think we can do to help better correlate society and natural energy. So talking about some of the issues, their two main issues are noise pollution and stray voltage. Noise pollution can be described as distributing excessive noise that may affect the activity or balance of a human or animal. And from wind turbines, noise pollution can be caused by the actual turbine spinning, it can be caused by the turbines interacting with the wind, and it can also be caused by the electrical conducting lines that take the energy from the turbine to the substation. Noise pollution can affect both humans and animals. Stray voltage can be described as a low voltage current that travels along a neutral wire because of an improper grounding of an electrical system. Short-term saying, basically, if you have an electrical system that isn't grounded properly, the electrical current is going to leave it and find the quickest way to the ground. So stray voltage, although it's not been recently discovered because of wind turbines, it has existed for years and years dealing with just regular hydro lines. It's because of the way that the turbines and the electrical system involved with the turbines are grounded that creates this problem. Stray voltage is more of a concern for animals living in a barn, so livestock. It can affect humans, but because houses themselves tend to be grounded so effectively, stray voltage doesn't normally become an issue regarding humans. So looking at this slide, you can see some of the symptoms that people have claimed to have had since wind turbines have been installed near their homes. It's important to know that the standard for how far a wind turbine has to be from a house is only 300 meters, so it's very close. And if you've ever driven past a wind turbine farm, you've seen that they can be very close to the houses. The information I got for this slide was from a journal called the Canadian Health Physician, and the Canadian Health Physician is a journal of the College of Family Physicians of Canada. And they basically took a whole bunch of research from Europe, America, and other places in Canada and created a list of a lot of the symptoms they would find in their patients. Excuse me. It's important to understand that stress and sleep disturbance are the two major ones, and this can be caused from noise pollution. If someone can't sleep during the night because of the noise pollution they're hearing from the wind turbines, that can cause their immune system to break down and their stress to increase. And stress creates a pile of other problems. It can lead to headaches, anxiety, depression, cognitive dysfunction, tachycardia, which is an increased heart rate, which can lead to increased blood pressure. And then the pressure of the actual turbines going through the air can cause ear pressure problems and tinnitus. So those are some of the health problems that come from wind turbines, and they can be very serious. So it's important to understand that although lots of wind turbine companies will disregard that information, the people are saying something's wrong, and it's really important to listen to that. Looking at livestock, stress and anxiety can be caused in livestock as well, which can be caused from noise pollution. But stray voltage is a really big concern because barns are very metal-like and they're very they're really damp. And if stray voltage is coming off from the lines of the conducting lines and getting into the barns, it can affect how well the cattle or animal can eat because they get shocked from the metal, or if there's wetness on the ground, it can go through the ground, in the water in the ground, and through their hooves and into the cattle, which can be really uncomfortable for them. So some of the problems with cattle, they've noticed decreasing eating and drinking, which has led to milk yields, decreased weight, and a lot of deformities in the birth of their calves. And that's also been seen in goats. As well in cattle and goats, and in also pigs, they've noticed hemorrhaging, which is a really big problem, and that can also be caused from stress, and it can also be caused from discomfort within the body. And again, anxiousness, and for cattle again, increased milking time, so it's becoming harder for farmers to actually milk them effectively because of their anxiousness, and they kick off the milking parlor machinery that they use to milk the cattle. Chickens have also had a really big health effect from wind turbines. Farmers living within the area of wind turbines noticed that when the wind turbines went up, they noticed the chickens were laying shellless eggs, which is a sign of really increased stress, hemorrhaging, and they had a decreased lifespan. And if you're living in an environment that is creating unhealthy animals, that's going to be the unhealthy food that you're sending off to the butcher to sell to the market, to the public. So it's a very big deal that the livestock that we're growing in these communities are being affected by wind turbines. So what can we do about it? It's obvious that we need to keep green energy because of the situation our environment is in our Earth. However, we can't jeopardize our society and our means of life for it as well. So regarding wind energy, I think that if you put in better sanctions and standards for stray voltage, and also increase the distance between houses and wind turbines, I think that would really help a lot of the health problems with both humans and animals. As well, I think if you tried to do more research on how wind turbines affect humans and animals, you might be able to come up with a way to better make the animals, humans, and wind turbines correlate better. As well, as long as you keep increasing your research on better technology, I think you'll find that the problems will start to go away as well. If you have better technology and means of turbines, they're quieter, better insulators for the electrical conducting lines, and even maybe if there's emissions coming off as well from the electrical conducting lines, if you have better technology, that can help decrease all of that health problems going on. However, I think solar energy is much more effective. It grounds much more effectively. The technology behind it just allows that to happen better. There's no noise pollution, which can take away a lot of health problems that wind turbines have for people. And there's less room needed to put them up. They still take up room like wind turbines if you have a big field full of them, but they can be put on the houses of barns and the houses or the roofs of barns and the roofs of houses. And again, if you keep increasing better technology, you're going to have cleaner technology to create natural energy with. So thank you for listening to my presentation. It's a really important subject for me, and it should be an important subject for everyone else as well. If you are interested, there's some of the sources here that I used for the presentation. I listed them here, and feel free to email me with questions, and as well, don't be afraid to take the time to put it into your own hands and make sure that you are in good health, and that the people you love and the animals that you may or may not take care of for are being considered in the green energy perspective. because it's the government that pushes a lot of the wind turbine issue or solutions, the public voice isn't heard very much. So it's important to speak up and state your point.